Hey there, everyone. How you doing? It's Christophe Choo from Coldwell Banker Global Luxury in Beverly Hills. It's early June. It's hard to believe summer is officially here. And it's actually kind of warm. We have our typical June gloom of June, which in LA, if you live here, or Beverly Hills or the West Side, typically in the mornings of June, we have overcast marine layer till 10, 11, noon, sometimes early afternoon. It's kind of cloudy and overcast, and it's now about 12:30. And we're just starting to lose the morning overcast. I'm looking at it outside and have some beautiful sunshine. That's our morning June gloom in June. Hope you guys are all doing well today out in the world of Facebook and enjoying your day. And it's a beautiful day in LA, and I'm happy to be here. So I thought I would share my our local luxury market report here for Los Angeles to share with you that are interested what's going on in the luxury real estate marketplace here in the west side of Los Angeles. And when I say west side of Los Angeles, essentially, for those of you that have been here, picture from downtown going west to Malibu to about Encino on the north down to about the LAX airport. So it's about a 10-mile circular circumference of Los Angeles, kind of the heart of LA as we call it, although downtown is the center of LA, not really the center of LA County, but it's not the heart of the city. The heart of the city really is, in my opinion, Beverly Hills and the West Side. So the areas I talk about in my reports basically include Malibu, Pacific Palisades, Santa Monica, Brentwood, Bel Air, the Hollywood Hills, Sunset Strip, Westwood, which includes Holmby Hills, Little Holmby, Beverly Hills Post Office, Beverly Hills City, which are two different things, Los Feliz, Hancock Park. So those are the main areas that we talk about. So who's here joining me today? I see my friend Katie in London is here, and Kathleen, and my friends from Turkey are watching. Hello, everybody. Give me some likes and hearts. Shannon from Colorado. Shannon, are you still in New York? Hopefully you're having a good time still in New York. Had a great time coming to your awards gala at the Broadmoor back a couple months ago. That was really fun. My friend Deborah. Hey, Deborah. How are you doing? Nice to see you. I'm so glad you're all joining today. So I'm going to start getting right into the meat of our subject today, which is kind of an overall view of our marketplace in the luxury segment here on the West Side, as I discussed earlier. And for us, when we talk about luxury real estate in Los Angeles, essentially my reports on the luxury segment essentially start at $5 million. There's really no homes in LA under 1.3 or 4 million, and that's a small teardown on a small mini little lot. So there's just not of those. And even nowadays, a good area with a 7,000-foot lot can cost you $2.5 to $3 million minimum. I've got some properties in that range that are about $3 million for a 7,500-foot lot. So, hey, Gilda, how are you? Ahmed, Phil Catalano, nice. Everyone's joining us. I love that. So let's get right now into the meat of things. So our market update. So I've been tracking this now for 10 years, hard to believe. So right now, so far for 2018, and this is a comparison of what's going on from January through early June 2018 versus the same period last year. And I do this every month for those of you that watch. So right now, 2018 versus 2017 in the $10 million plus market, essentially we have had 65 sales so far this year over $10 million in the West Side, versus 73 last year at the same time. And it's about a 12% decrease in the $10 million plus range. Oh, my light's flashing, lovely. I love it when the equipment doesn't work. So you'll see me on the dark, half of me being dark. That's okay. So basically, we're down overall 12% in the number of sales in the market of $10 million plus. But let's get into kind of the specifics of the different price ranges specifically. Let's start with the $5 million range. And at the end of this, if you guys have any specific questions about specific properties or the market, or we'll touch a little bit on some celebrity and some kind of famous sales, make some comments and I'll kind of scan through the comments and see if I can respond and answer those questions before we leave off. So in the $5 million plus range so far, actually to our surprise, because the first part of this year, January, February, were pretty slow. Meaning we were down 40 to 60% in terms of number of sales in the high-end market, the same period last year versus this year. But all of a sudden, the last 2 months, things have gotten back to normal, and in some cases have actually surpassed what happened last year at the same time. Hey there, Becky. Hey, Bernadette. How are you? So in our $5 million marketplace, there have been 217 sales closed so far in 2018 versus 214. So it's a little bit of an increase, not a lot, but three more sales than last year, so it's 1%. But there are 58 homes in escrow right now on the Westside over $5 million. And I would say the hottest segment of the market today, which I'll have to do another report about, that is under $5 million. Anything under $5 million, if it's priced well, we're still seeing a lot of multiple offers. They're selling, and they're getting very good prices. So in the $10 million range, as I alluded to earlier, there have been 67 sales so far in 2018 versus 73 in 2017. There are 11 currently in escrow pending. So it's down about 8% overall in the $10 million marketplace. Now in the $20 million marketplace, we've had 21 closings so far this year, over $20 million versus 24 in 2017. So only 3 less than last year. And again, the first 2 months of the year were very slow in our luxury marketplace, and that has picked up. And we don't quite know what was happening. I think from my experience, although most of the wealthy people that live in these homes don't really concern themselves too much about the loss of the mortgage deduction because they own the houses for cash, so there's no loans. I think there was a lot of uncertainties about estate taxes, taxes overall. So I think there was some hesitation on the parts of wealthy sellers to put their homes up and sell them. So I think that's my opinion as to why I think things were slow a little bit at the first part of the year. So again, 21 sales over 20 million this year versus 24 last year. $30 million plus, we're basically right on par with 2017. 11 homes have sold and closed so far this year, over 30 million, versus 12 in 2017. So one less, but 9% if you look at a percentage point. In terms of 40 million plus, that market is really strong, and we'll talk about that. 5 last year at this time, and 5 this year. So we're even Steven with the $20 million plus, $40 million plus homes. And I forgot to write down in my notes here the $50 million plus homes. So anyway, sorry about that. And in the last 30 days, this is kind of interesting. This is why the first couple months were slow. But in the last 30 days, 24 homes sold and closed over 10 million. So that's a lot. And then 6 sold over 20 million. So what is sold recently that's kind of unusual? So there was a house in Holmby Hills on about 2.2 acres, what I would call a modern farmhouse, about 13,000 square feet. It sold for $68,825,000. About a 5-year-old home, beautiful property, Holmby Hills, which is prime LA. And I forget what the calculation was, but it was about $6,000 and change per square foot. And I believe to date that is the highest price per square foot for a home sold in Los Angeles. No view. I mean, it was a little peekaboo view of the top of some buildings from a couple bedrooms, a framed view, as we call it, but not a full-on city view, nothing like that. But it's one of the highest sales recently in the Holmby Hills market. Again, $68,825,000. There was a big recent sale. Peter Morton sold a house in Malibu for $110 million, and there was another sale in Malibu for $120 million. So right now we had a couple records beat last year at 105 million sales. 105 million for a home. That was the Playboy Mansion. And this year that was beat out by 2 homes in Malibu for 110 million and 120 million. So yes, I know it's crazy. Some of my friends around the country say, we can buy a whole town for 120 million. I get it, but it's not LA. LA's the place. What's that song? LA. Anyways, there's a song by a famous singer about LA. I forget the name of it. So where are these homes over $20 million selling this year? So year to year, it changes where the hot properties are selling. So this year so far, over 20 million, 5 of them were in Malibu, which is interesting because back a few years ago when the market was really, really hot, there was a year where there was very few sales in Malibu, but every other area, Beverly Hills, Bel Air, were going like crazy. So 4 of these sales over 20 million were in Beverly Hills so far this year. I hope to be one of those. One of my great listings, a very well-known house called Maison 808. We just made an adjustment on the price to $43.8 million, and that'll be hopefully one of the next $20 million plus or $40 million plus sales in LA. So 5 sold in Malibu, 4 in Beverly Hills, 3 in Bel Air, 2 in the Sunset Strip, 2 in the Beverly Hills Post Office, 2 in Holmby Hills, 2 in Pacific Palisades, and 1 in Brentwood. And there's one in Pacific Palisades that just sold last week for over $32 million. Now, who is buying these homes and where? Hey, Lori. Hey, Fina. Hey, Katie. I'll check in with your questions. So, guys, as we're talking about the marketplace, if you have any questions about this, make sure to let me know. I'll be happy to discuss it with you. So, who's buying in LA? So, there are years where there's a lot more foreign buyers and less American buyers. This year, we're a little bit more weight on the heavy side of American buyers. So far this year, there have been 76% of all the sales over 20 million were sold to Americans. It's a lot. So out of 20, I think there were 21 sales, 16 were American buyers, 1 Canadian. We always have Canadians buying in the high end. 1 from Japan, buyer, very famous businessman from Japan, bought a beautiful home in Bel Air for $88 million a couple months ago on Chalon Road, beautiful house. A buyer from Mexico. We do have a lot of very wealthy Mexican nationals that own homes in LA. It's a quick flight to Mexico City or to Cabo or to Cancun. So a lot of wealthy Mexican businessmen and women do like to have homes in LA. And I have a lot of clients that have homes in Mexico City or Cuernavaca that also have homes in Los Angeles. And a lot of them have family here. Home sold to a Monegasque buyer. It was a home designed by Lenny Kravitz, and it sold for $32.3 million, which is the highest price sold in this particular part of the Hollywood Hills. It wasn't even the Sunset Strip. It was east of Crescent Heights in what we call the kind of eastern section of the Hollywood Hills. And in a neighborhood where homes are like 2 to 5 million generally. And we were really shocked when it came on the market at 38 million, and it sold for 33.2 or 32.3, I forget exactly, but at that price it doesn't matter. And it sold within 10 days, and it sold to a buyer from Monaco. And then there was one sale over 20 million to a buyer from the UK. So Katie, any of your friends in London that want to buy a place in LA? Now's a good time. So I'd like to talk about also the off-market listings. There have been periods of time where off-market sales over 20 million were as high as 60%. But as the market's cooled a little bit, we've seen a drop in that number. So surprisingly, so far this year, of the 21 sales over 20 million, only 38% were sold off-market. So much lower percentage, almost half of what it was in the peak markets of off-market sales. So interesting statistic, and there's no question there's some sellers that just want the privacy and don't want to be publicly sold. But the reality is, even though you're not on the MLS, the news media picks up about it, especially a significant home. The internet picks up on it, so you really can't be private. But some sellers just don't want it on the market. So sometimes with significant listings, we will list the property off market for maybe a month, 60, 90 days, and if it doesn't sell, then we go on the market. So just interesting, it's dropped almost 50% in terms of the number of sales off market this year versus last year. So what's significantly new in terms of new properties for sale in the marketplace? So a property on South Mapleton Drive, which I've spoken about many times, is probably the number one street and the best street west of the Mississippi. I've sold a number of homes on that street. I love that street. And the Playboy Mansion was there. I sold one there last year, and anyways, a few times. So there's a listing on there now that sold a few years back to a Lebanese businessman. I think at the time he paid 42 million or 44 million. The developer had purchased the lot about 3 years prior for 8.3 million, which was an amazing deal, but it was a difficult lot to build on, and this was a very smart developer. He really did a good job, and he built a home. I believe it was about 30,000 square feet, and he sold it for 44 million at that time. Well, that house is back on the market. They've now redesigned it with all Fendi furniture, and it's for sale for 88 million. And what do you get for 88 million? You get 1.4 acres on Mapleton Drive. It also backs up onto Beverly Glen, and it's about 31,000 square feet. And an interesting statistic or interesting thing about that house, indoor pool, outdoor pool. But what it has that's unique, it has a full medical dental facility downstairs on the lower level, meaning if you need, it has a full dental chair with all the tools and equipment you would see in a dental office. So if you're that rich to afford an $88 million house, you don't have to go to the dentist. You have the dentist come to you. And there's a fully equipped dental studio downstairs. So that's kind of unique. And I did post a photo of that a few years ago. So again, that lot sold for $8,250,000 in 2011. This particular buyer bought it in 2014 for $44 million. And here we are in 2018, it's listed at $88 million, so double the price. Another significant new listing on South Mapleton Drive is at 330 South Mapleton. Just came on the market for $88 million as well. Interesting, 2 houses, $88 million. Lucky 8/8s. Even though neither one of those are Chinese owners, actually one is a Chinese owner, I think they're appealing to the Chinese buyer pool with the double lucky 8/8s. So 300 South Mapleton Drive just came on the market. It sold back, 2013 as a total fixer with mold for $19.5 million, just over 1.1 acres. And at the time, it was about 19,000 square feet. The owner has redeveloped it, and it's now 31,000 square feet, and it's $88 million. And it's quite beautiful, and it's on Mapleton. It's on the quiet side of Mapleton, meaning you're not backing up to Beverly Glen. It's a contemporary Mediterranean with a very modern interior. Acre, street-to-street lot, and it's quite beautiful, listed for $88 million. There's been a significant price reduction. 924 Bellar Road, which is a house designed by Bruce Makowski, originally came on the market for $250 million. They had a reduction recently to $188 million. Now you still get a 38,000 square foot house. You get just over an acre of land on a street-to-street lot. You get a helicopter, and you get I think it's a $40 million car collection, and the house is fully furnished. And for that price, you also get 2 years worth of butlers, staff, maids, I think a driver. So it's totally turnkey for that billionaire that you know, or that just wants to buy a house and have it totally turnkey. What else? We talked about the property that sold on Carrollwood, the Brad Gray house that sold, and that house, which is interesting, it just sold for 68 million plus, 13,000 square feet on a 2.2 acre lot. That property sold as a teardown in 2010 for $18.5 million. So prices have jumped up dramatically in the Holmby Hills area. I remember I sold the first home over $20 million in Holmby Hills back, I think it was 10 years ago now, and it was just over $23 million at the time, and nothing had sold to that date for that price over $20 million. And today, there's not even a teardown. Well, not right now, but there might be here and there. But yeah, back in the day, there was nothing over 20 million. Now today, 40, 50 million, 60 million is the kind of the new $5 million house. I know it's kind of odd, but that's just the reality. What else sold? 630 Nemes Road just sold. That was a house that just sold for $56 million. Asking price of $72 million, 35,000 square feet. They're going to gut the house. It's on 2.2 acres, beautiful views. It sold back 4 years ago for $52 million. The style isn't a style that most people want today in terms of it's a little bit dated. It was built 15, 16 years ago. So the buyer's apparently going to redo the whole house, turn it more modern. So it's kind of interesting that that's what's going to happen with that. So that's kind of what's going on overall with the marketplace. So now I have some time for some Q&A with everyone. Wow, we got lots of comments here. I couldn't see them earlier. Sometimes on these live videos, you don't get to see the comments until afterwards. It's a bit of a delay. So let's just see what questions we have. Hey, Phil. Hey, Antonella. How is everybody? Hey, Deborah. How are you? Gosh, haven't seen you for a while. Oh, I'd love to see. Are you going to be down in LA? I'd love to see you. Gosh, it's been a long, long time. Cindy, you haven't been to California in a while. Well, California is a great place. I love it. Born and raised here, and look, every state has its problems, but California is really a wonderful, wonderful place. Hey, Bernadette. You're welcome. It's always my pleasure to share what's going on in our marketplace. And I have a new listing that I'm just waiting for signatures. It hasn't come in yet, so I can't quite mention it yet. But it's a very significant, not significant in terms of price. It's only $7 million. I shouldn't say only. It's $7 million, but it's very significant in terms of the architect who designed it, and it's one of his finest works of art, I would call it, in the city of Los Angeles. So anyways, I'll probably post about that a little bit later once I have the DocuSign in my hands and it's still wet. Hi, Fina. Hey, Katie. Yeah, Katie, wasn't the Tupac song. It was I Love L.A. was the name of the song. It was probably from the 80s or 90s, but I can't remember the name. Okay, Burnett, you have a question. What do the homeowners of Beverly Hills do for a living? Good question. Most in Chula Vista, San Diego, most are veterans actively seeking the military. Yeah. Teachers, law enforcement. That's a good question. So Beverly Hills, I would say, I don't know if there's any statistics, and that'd be a good question for me to check with the Chamber of Commerce. My guess is that the LA marketplace the Beverly Hills marketplace for homes, especially in the high end, is probably 30 to 40% of those homes are, first of all, foreign buyers. And most of the foreign buyers that buy these vacation homes in LA that are 10, 20, 30, 80, $100 million, and a lot of these buyers that are foreign are buying homes at that price range. I have a friend and past client looking for a home for around $100 million, and it's a vacation home that they'll come spend, 2-3 different times in the year to visit, 4, 5, 6 days at a time. So I would say a majority of the wealthy people in Beverly Hills are business people. A lot of them that are really, really wealthy tend to be in the property business. And what I mean by that, they're developers. Developers of high-rises, skyscrapers, big projects. They buy blocks and develop mixed-use projects. So a lot of, I would say primarily it's business people. People always think, oh, the movie stars own all the expensive homes. But the reality is, if you're buying a $20, a $30, or $40 million home, you've got to have a net worth of 100 to 200 to 300 million minimum to be able to purchase that kind of home. And in most cases, unless you're an A or A-plus list celebrity where you're making 20, 25 million a film, you just simply can't afford to live in those homes. So there's so many well-known celebrities that are huge and very famous and very popular, but they live in $2 million homes, $5 million homes, $10 million homes. So Bernadette, in answer to your question, primarily business people in all sorts of businesses, a few of the A-listers in the entertainment business. I would say there's probably more producers that own expensive homes, studio heads. A lot of the heads of big film and TV studios own these big homes. So I would say that's just offhand business people, and then entertainment people, and then some music industry people, which are also entertainment. Send some buyers to Palm Beach. Absolutely, Yvonne. I love Palm Beach. Palm Beach is one of my favorite places. And I think if I didn't live in LA, I probably wouldn't mind living in Palm Beach in season. Not in summertime, but during the season, because all of our friends from New York and Chicago all go to Palm Beach for the season. So yes, Yvonne, Palm Beach is great. And stay in touch with me, and I'll certainly keep you in mind for Palm Beach, because I don't really know a lot of great brokers in Palm Beach. Hey, Meredith. Hey, Bridget. Beth George, thank you. And Beth, thanks for always helping me to report those fake profiles. Chuck Farish, haven't seen you for a while. Lily. So I don't see a lot of questions or any questions. Bernadette's the only one with a question today. And we don't have a lot of viewers. They say midday is a good time to do live videos, but obviously today, I don't know where people are, but they're out and about doing their thing. So I'm not going to bore you anymore or bother you. If you guys have questions when you see this, let me know. Give me some likes and hearts if you enjoyed watching this video and you like these market reports. We try to do them once a month. Sometimes I forget, but we do try to do them once a month. And give me some hearts and likes. Share this with your friends, and ask us any questions about real estate. Whether it's a celebrity home, whether it's what's the most expensive homes. Just let me know what you want to know about LA luxury real estate, and it'd be my pleasure to share what I know with you. And hey, I've been doing this for 29 years, so I know my stuff. And I love what I do, for those of you that follow me, and it's always my pleasure to help. So thanks for watching, everyone. Take care, have a great day, and I'll see you all real soon. Bye-bye now.